So tonight, man, we're gonna do some football talk. The games were like the best game was probably the best one. Cincinnati coming back, man. I think they were versus Minnesota, man. I think they were down 17-3, and they came back and tied it. Went to overtime, and then won it 27-20. 24 in overtime, man. What a game that was probably the best game of the day. They continue to win games with Jake Brownie as the starting quarterback, man. They continue to win games. But yeah, man, that was probably the best game. The other game I thought it was going to be good at first. Pittsburgh took a 13-0 lead. And I'm like, we got ourselves a game. Even when it was like Indianapolis came back and took the lead 14-13. I'm like, we still got ourselves a game. But then after that was ball game. I believe the final score was like 30, 31-13, something like that. It was finished, man. And then what else did we see? The other game too was boring too. The Denver Detroit game. I don't know, Russell Wilson. At one point, man, freaking Sean Payton was screaming at Russell Wilson. Me and my father was like, he would never do that to fucking Drew Brees, man. Russell Wilson, man, he looking like a pendejo out there. Sean Payton was pissed off, screaming at him. I think Sean Payton I don't think he likes Russell Wilson at all, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's frustrated with him. They had the ball, like the 1 yard line, they couldn't score. They had to set up for a field goal, which I don't know what the hell you were down. You were down what, like fucking 31-7? Why the hell are you trying to get a field goal? Should have just gone for it on fourth down. I don't know, man. I think Sean Payton is really fed up with Russell Wilson, and I think the contract that he signed is not starting until next year, so they could still get rid of him in this upcoming free agency, and not have to pay the. I think there's like a date where they have to get rid of him. I don't know if it's February, March, somewhere around there. They get rid of him, and I might be wrong about this, but I think I did hear this, that the contract, the extension, right now he's still on the Seattle contract. And I believe that the Denver contract, the extension does not start until next year. I think if they cut him or trade him by either February or March, I think they don't have to pay the contract at all. You probably have to trade him though, because somebody's got to pay that damn contract. They signed paper, so you would have to trade him. Maybe Atlanta would be willing to do it. That's the only thing I can think of. Atlanta. Other than that, I can't really think of a team. Unless I don't know why the hell Carolina would want to do it, unless they feel they can get Bryce Young to play behind Russell Wilson for a few years, because they're kind of the same style, right? Little short quarterbacks. Maybe have Bryce Young learn under Russell Wilson for a few years. But I can't think of too many teams that are going to be willing to take on that Russell Wilson contract. If not, the Denver Broncos might be stuck, man. They might be stuck for a while with Russell Wilson, man. But we'll see what the hell happens. And then but yeah, man. I don't know. I thought they were looking much better, but now I think they lost like freaking 2 out of the last 3. So all of a sudden they're back. They're not looking that great anymore. There were some talks there about Sean Payton being coach of the year, but I don't think that's the case anymore, because now they're in a little bit of a funk all of a sudden, once again, losing to Houston a few weeks ago, and now here tonight getting their ass whooped by Detroit. I think it was back, obviously, the coach of the year, probably the Texans coach, DeMeco Ryans, although they kind of be falling a little bit too, right, with now CJ Stroud is hurt. But yeah, man, I don't know what you do with Russell Wilson, man. I really don't. I think if it's like this right now, it's even going to get worse as he gets older, right? It's not going to get any better. What's up, Fernando? Welcome to the show. How you doing, Fernando? What was the final score? I believe it was bad. I got it right here. Let me see here. 42-17. 42-17 was the final score. 42-17. They beat the hell out of them. They whooped them. And I believe at one time it was like 34-7. They beat the hell out of them, man. They beat the hell out of them, man. Jesus Christ. It was an ass whooping, man. Same thing. I don't know Indianapolis. I don't know what the hell Pittsburgh's gonna do, man. Um, Pittsburgh, they're not gonna fire Mike Tomlin, but let me take the show to the living room. Pittsburgh, they're not gonna fire Mike Tomlin. They're way too loyal in Pittsburgh, but I think they really need to get an offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. Um, Maybe like a Nerf Turner, but you're gonna have to pay him like head coach money, like to be the defensive coordinator. Excuse me, to be the offensive coordinator, because Nerd Turner is a guy that's been a head coach in this league, and he's failed as a head coach multiple times. So I think he would be okay if you guys are gonna pay me head coach money to be the offensive coordinator. I'll do it. I don't think nobody's gonna Nerd Turner, man. He's been a head coach with the Raiders, and a few other teams. I think the Chargers. So I think he knows he's not a good head coach, but he's a very good offensive coordinator. I think if you pay him good money, I think he could take that job and have Nerd Turner take full control of the offense and have Mike Tomlin have full control of the defense. And I think that might be the best way for Pittsburgh to go, man. Because if you hire like a young offensive minded coach, they're gonna leave you in like 3 years to become a head coach somewhere else. So that I would go the veteran route and hire a guy like Nerf Turner that's already been a head coach and has failed. Say, hey Nerf, we got all this money for you. We'll pay you head coach money to be the offensive coordinator, something like that. Because they're not gonna fire Mike Tomlin to hire either the Detroit offensive coordinator or the Houston offensive coordinator. They're too loyal to Mike Tomlin. Yeah, Lions won. Lions beat the shit out of Denver. They beat the hell out of Denver. Try to get Jim Harbaugh, and if not, I gotta make sure I read these too. Who will be the next head coach of the Chargers? David says, because a lot of times you guys can't see the replays when you guys are watching the replay. You guys can't see the chats on the replay. Yeah, so I mean, Jim Harbaugh is probably your first choice. From there, I would go with a young offensive coordinator, either the guy from Detroit or the guy from Houston. I would not hire Bill Belichick because who the hell is he going to be his offensive coordinator? Sean McDaniels? That guy hasn't been any good without Tom Brady. And then even if he does again, even if he does bring a good young offensive minded coordinator, he's gonna leave him to be a head coach eventually. That's the thing right now with these fucking hiring defensive minded coaches. That whoever the hell the offensive coordinator is, either he's gonna suck or he's gonna be too good to the point where he's gonna leave you to be the head coach somewhere else. That's why it's better right now to hire offensive minded coaches than defensive minded coaches, man. Um, what was the final score in the Detroit? Yeah, I already said that. 42-17, Detroit won. Um, but yeah, man, I think that's the route. If we're not going to fire Mike Tomlin, I think that's the route the Steelers have to take. Get a guy like Nerd Turner, pay him head coach money to be the offensive coordinator. And Chargers, either get Jim Harbaugh, and if he says no, then like I said, I would not get Belichick. I would get a young offensive mind head coach, like either the offensive coordinator of Detroit or the offensive coordinator in Houston. Um, but yeah, I mean, you see it today. Look at everything. Freaking you saw it in that Minnesota game with freaking Jake Brownie and Nick Mullins putting up almost what 25 points. Well, actually, no, 27-24 was the final score. You see what offensive coaches do with freaking those two guys, Kevin O'Connell and what I don't even know what the hell's the Cincinnati coach. Kevin O'Connell's the Minnesota coach. And who the hell? It's a Taylor, some shit like that. What the hell's the Cincinnati's coach name? I think it's Taylor something, right? I forget. Um, Look at what they're able to do with backups. Jake Brownie, he's I think he's got like a he's above 500 as a starter. I don't think that would be the case if they had a defensive minded head coach. I don't think that would be the case. Look at everything fucking Kevin O'Connell was able to get out of freaking Nick Mullins today, or whatever the fuck his name. Yeah, Nick Mullins. I think that's the right way to go. Head coach, man. Head coach. Look how bad Bill Belichick looks these last 4 years without Tom Brady, man. He looks horrendous, man. You have got to get a head coach, man. Head coach, head coach. Offensive minded head coach, man. Simple as that, man. Jesus Christ, man. I've got to get a. I've got the Indianapolis too, right? With Shane Stashin. Look what he's doing with fucking backup Garner Minshew. Look how good they're playing, man. Look how you saw today. You saw 4 backups, and 3 of them look pretty damn good. Jake Brownie, McMullins, and Gardner Minshew. They look pretty damn good. They all put up over 20 points. Minshew put up like 31. Um, Nick, freaking Nick Mullins put up 24, and Jake Brownie put up 27. It's I don't, what is how many points is Mike Tomlin scoring with Nick Mullins? How many points is Mike Tomlin scoring with Jake Brownie? They're playing like how and like think about it. If you put um Mitchell Trubisky with in Cincinnati with Taylor, they're scoring a lot more points over there because it's an offensive coordinator, man. You have got to hire offensive coordinators to be your coaches, man. Not these defensive minded coaches, man. I think it's I don't know, man. I don't think it works. I just don't think it works, man. Like they're good for defense, like just to be like defensive coordinators, but not head coaches, man. I can't even. Is it Zach Taylor? I believe is the guy's name. Zach Taylor. That's the Cincinnati's coach, Zach Taylor. How many points tonight would Mitchell Trubisky? I think Mitchell Trubisky would have had a very good day, maybe, if Zach Taylor would have been his coach instead of defensive-minded coach Mike Tomlin. Even Kevin O'Connell would have probably gotten a lot more out of Mitchell Trubisky or Shane Stashin. It's an offensive-minded league, man. I've got to hire offensive-minded coaches, man. But yeah, man. I mean, so far I'm hitting all my picks right. Had the Raiders winning, had the Cincinnati winning, the fucking can't even remember what. Oh man, the Indianapolis winning and fucking Detroit winning. So far I got the picks right, and so off to a little nice week so far at 4-0, man. Off to a little nice streak at 4-0. Start off the fucking what is this, week 15, I believe. I think this is week 14. 15, 14, some shit like that. I think it's week 15, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are kind of quiet tonight for a Saturday. Very shitty ass show tonight, if you ask me honestly. I was gonna stay on for a while tonight, but I might get off here pretty soon due to the lack of it. But sometimes, like I said, it will wake up. Like the first half is kind of shitty, and then the second half, the stream gets a little bit more active. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see when I call it a night. We're about 15 minutes into this puppy. What else happened today? I'm trying to figure it out. A huge UFC event, right? There was wasn't there a fight in the crowd with two UFC fighters? I think one of the fighters got knocked out and he had freaking seizures with how bad he got knocked out. So a big UFC event. No, don't know all the details, but I think it was a lot of shit happened in that fucking UFC event. I think a fight broke loose in the crowd with two UFC fighters that are scheduled to fight in the future, and I believe another fight. The guy got a seizure after the fight, in the cage because of how hard he got hit. But don't even know all the names of these guys. I just saw it on Twitter. But I heard a lot of shit went down on tonight's UFC show, which I can give you more information, but I didn't fucking watch the show. So apologize. I am so apologize. I think, let's see, injuries. I think CJ Stroud is not playing for Houston. I think Tyreek Hill is questionable for Miami. I'm trying to think if there's more injuries for this week, man. I'm trying to think if there's more injuries. I know Aaron Rodgers. What about fucking Aaron Rodgers? Supposedly the belief is he will be clear sometime this upcoming week and might possibly play in that freaking Washington game next week. That would be crazy, man, if Aaron Rodgers plays literally 3 months after tearing his Achilles, man. That would be fucking crazy, man, if he actually fucking plays. But they're saying if they lose to Miami, they're probably not going to put him in. I think they're not too far away from being mathematically eliminated. I don't think they're too far away from it. Who will get number 1 draft pick? The Panthers, but the Chicago has it. Carolina has it, but the Panthers get it. Excuse me, the Bears get it. Chicago gets it. They're terrible. I think they're like fucking 1-12. They're terrible. Carolina, they're horrendous. But they don't even get their pick because they traded it. They trade their pick to Chicago, so they don't get it. So Chicago has it instead. I'm assuming Chicago is gonna draft Caleb Williams. I'm assuming, but I know there's some talks about keeping Justin Fields and instead drafting Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver out of Ohio State, and trying to pair him with DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. I don't know though. I don't know Justin Fields, man. You might have to move on from him. I was a big Justin Fields fan when he came out. I'm like, if Jalen Hurts works, Justin Fields should work too. But I don't. The coach, man. I don't know why the fuck they hire Matt Eberflus to be the coach. They should have hired somebody else to be the coach, man. I don't understand how they hired Matt Eberflus. That was a terrible. I think that was a terrible hire, man. They should hire somebody else to be the coach and could help Justin Fields develop more, man. I think Kevin O'Connell was available, man. They should have hired Kevin O'Connell instead. I don't know I don't know like what the situation was. Maybe Minnesota. Maybe they were planning to hire Kevin O'Connell, but Minnesota hired him first. I don't know, but I believe Kevin O'Connell was available. They should hire him instead. Yeah, Eberflus stinks, man. In fact, I will fire him. I don't think it's a good idea to have him be if they do draft Caleb Williams. I don't think it's a good idea to have Matt Eberflus be his coach. They have to. So they say they don't want Jim Harbaugh because there's I don't know who it is. One of the executives on the Chicago Bears worked in the Big Ten with Jim Harbaugh, and they don't like each other. So the belief is, I believe somebody said that because of the bad relationship between that guy and Jim Harbaugh is not going to go to Chicago. So that's gonna, again, you probably have to go after a young offensive mind coach, probably either the Detroit offensive coordinator or the Houston offensive coordinator, one of those two probably. Um, Maybe the Houston one, right? 'Cause, I don't know how similar they are, but between Jared Goff and CJ Stroud, I think CJ Stroud's a little bit more similar to Caleb Williams. So you might want to go to the Houston offensive coordinator if you're Chicago to coach Caleb Williams. But yeah, I would not let Matt Eberflus coach Caleb Williams. The guy's an idiot. But I mean, we'll see what the hell happens. Some other people are even saying they like Drake May better. They're saying, yeah, Drake May looks better. I want him instead. I don't know about that. That could be a strategy because they already did this to Chicago a few years ago. They said, "Oh yeah, we're very high on Mitchell Trubisky, very high on Mitchell," and then Chicago ended up drafting Mitchell Trubisky instead of drafting fucking Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. So then maybe they're doing that to them again. They're trying to fool them and thinking Drake May's the guy, and then Chicago falls for it once again. And then whoever's drafting later on, they can have Caleb Williams. But no way Chicago's that stupid again and fall for that and draft the wrong guy. No way, man. No fucking way. And I think Houston did that shit too with TJ Stroud. They were saying that he was like not that smart, that he was not going to be able to learn the playbook. And they did that on purpose so Carolina wouldn't draft him at one. And I think the owner fell for it. David Tepper, I think he fell for it. And that's why he drafted Bryce Young instead of CJ Stroud. Pendejo face, man. So I think that's where these rumors are coming from about Drake May being better than Caleb Williams. Heading to bed. Good night. My Rams beat the crap out of the. I think they will. We'll see what the hell happens. But yeah, have a good night, David. Thank you for coming by, man. Have a good night, David. Have a good night, David. Have a good night, man. But yeah, man. I think these fucking coaches and scouts, they do that shit. When they want somebody, they talk shit about him. So then it gets out. So then the teams that are in position to draft them, they're stupid enough to believe them and don't draft them anymore. So I remember in 2020, no, what was it? 2017, 2018. It was 2017, I believe. They hyped the shit out of Mitchell Trubisky, and Chicago fell for it. And then Houston, a few picks later, drafted Deshaun Watson, and then Kansas City, a few picks later, drafted Patrick Mahomes. Pendejo face for the Chicago Bears for falling for that, man. Pendejo face. But yeah, let's see. What else can we talk about here, ladies and gentlemen? What else can we talk about? You see, you guys have to ask a question, and I'm really good at answering it. Also, like extending it, right? So, yeah, especially I can afford to do that since there's really nobody in here. Kind of, so I can afford to really do a good job of answering and explaining your explaining my answer to you guys. So yeah, if anybody else has a question, let me know. I am looking at possibly getting off here soon, in like the next maybe 5 minutes, because it is kind of quiet tonight. That is a possibility. But we'll see. Because I think we're past the halfway mark. We're about to enter minute 25, and so usually these streams are about 30 minutes. So we're past way through this puppy, man. This shit's looking terrible tonight. So If it doesn't pick up like in the next 5 minutes, I'm probably gonna call it a night, ladies and gentlemen. We ain't kissing ass. Um, what's up, Daniel? Welcome to the show. How you doing, Daniel? Um, I'm trying to think what else I can think about, man. Trying to think what else I can talk about, man, to shoot the shit. What else can I talk about, man? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else can I talk about, man? I'm trying to figure out. No, man, I'm trying to think. Damn, what else can I talk about, man? I can't even think right now. I feel like I gotta do a better job of planning these out. So just in case the chat is very quiet, I have a better idea. Baseball, I think that I talked about the Dodgers getting Tyler Glasnow. I believe I did, right? And then they extended him for 5 years, so $165 million. I think I talked about that. Tyler Glasnow getting traded to the Dodgers. Let's see. Is there anything going on? Basketball, not really. Just the Draymond Green shit. That seems the only thing people are talking about right now. Draymond. Oh, here's another one I was trying to talk about. I don't know if I liked the Chargers firing the general manager Tom Telesco because he's the one that got all the talent there, right? Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, um, Darwin James, he's the guy that got out of the fucking talent there. I don't think it was his. Yeah, he was the one that hired um, Brendan Staley to be the coach, but I thought he did a great job of picking players the last few years, man. They might low key fuck up with that, man. I don't think he was the problem at all. I think it was the coach. But that's the one part he might have fucked up hiring the coach, right? But player wise, man, there was talent all over that fucking team. And if anything, I think I don't know if the owner Spanos, he was pissed off at him for signing C.J. Jackson to all that money, and he was trash. I don't know if he was also mad at him for that. But I thought, as far as like picking players, I thought Tom Telesco did a very good job of that. I mean, literally, like they went from a franchise quarterback in Philip Rivers to another franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert. You don't see that a lot. Had two very good Pro Bowl wide receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Um, Austin Eckler, the running back. Um, I don't know if that was the smartest thing to fire the general manager Tom Telesco. I know I can think of at least two parts he fucked up in with the coach obviously, and then with giving all that money to the defensive back C.J. Jackson. Because I don't even think the Khalil Mack thing is that bad, right? Khalil Mack, he's been kind of good for them. He's been kind of good for them. Obviously Nick Bosa. Excuse me, Joey Bosa. So yeah, I don't know about that shit being smart about them firing the general manager. I think he did more good than bad for that team. Let's see who they hire next to be their new general manager. But they might have fucked up with that one, man. They might have overreacted by that one. Um, but yeah, let's see. Let's see. We're gonna get off here pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen. We ain't kissing ass in 2023. We're about to get off here pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. What else can we talk about? Let's see here. Trying to think. There's an interesting. Who's gonna win the fucking that shitty ass division called the AFC South between the fucking Buccaneers, Falcons, and Saints, man. That division's in the shithole. That's gonna be one of those where you only have to win like 9 games to win the division, man. But then sometimes they get hot at the right time and they start winning the playoffs, and that's how you have those Cinderella stories. So it's gonna be interesting to see. That is a very shitty ass division, but one of those three is gonna have to get in the playoffs. I think Tampa Bay plays Green Bay this week, and that's a very very critical game when it comes down to the wild card. But I can't believe it. Pretty impressive. If you would have told me in December 17, that's a critical game in Week 15, Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, I would have said I would have laughed at you. But here we are, man. That might be the best game on the 1 o'clock window. That might be the best game to watch. That Green Bay Tampa Bay game, honestly, low key. Obviously, you got Buffalo and Dallas in the 3 o'clock window. And then obviously you got Jacksonville, Baltimore at night. But yeah, on that first window, that might be the best game to watch. Tampa Bay, Green Bay, man, for the NFC wild card. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll see we'll see who the hell wins that shit, man. But I can't believe if you would have told me, yeah, that's actually an important game for the wild card going into Week 15. I'm like, are you? I bet you better than. Are you serious? I would have laughed at you, low key, man. No cock, man. I would have laughed at you. But here we are. But yeah, I don't know who the hell's gonna win that fucking division, man. It's a shitty ass division, but somebody's got to win it. I think Seattle. Didn't they only win like 7 games one year, and they fucking won their division, and then they beat the Saints in the playoffs back when they had Drew Brees. I think that was when Marshawn Lynch did that big run where he ran over everybody. So it's possible you can fucking only win 7, 8, 9 games, win your division, and get hot at the right time. It's very possible that can happen, man. Um, but yeah, man, that's who's the hell's gonna win that division, man? Between the fucking Buccaneers, Falcons, and Saints, man. Who the hell's gonna win that shitty ass division, ladies and gentlemen? Who the hell's gonna win it, man? What up, Packer? Excuse me. What up, Cowboy? Welcome to the show. Literally did most of this shit by myself, man. I got a few people coming in, but for the most part, how to make chicken chat chicken salad, man. It's just this YouTube shit's kind of in the shithole, honestly. It's just in the fucking shithole, man. At this point, it's whatever. I kind of want to have my channel for 10 years. That's why I'm kind of like still doing this. I'm about in the summer of 2025 will be 10 years for me. So about a year and a half from now. I don't know. I might as well, man. I've been doing this for almost 9 years. I might as well do it for 10. But this shit's really in the shithole lately, man. It really is. Brutal loss for Kobe Broncos. They needed that win with Bengals and Colts. Yeah, man. Shitty ass performance, man. Sean Payton was fucking pissed off at Russell Wilson, man. You saw him. Yeah, no way he yells at Drew Brees like that, man. You could tell he doesn't respect Russell Wilson the same way he respected Drew Brees, man. No freaking way, man. No freaking way, man. I think you might know this, but I think I saw something. If they trade him by either February or March, they don't have to pay a penny of that contract that they sign him to. But I don't know who the hell would take him. Maybe Atlanta, some shit like that. I don't know who that. But I do think if they trade him by March or something, I don't know. Sean Payton has problems of his own kicking a field goal. Yeah. What I didn't get that either. But that might be just frustration. I don't believe in you. That might be a way of telling him I don't fucking believe in you. I don't know what that was either. It made zero sense. I didn't get that one either. But I think Sean Payton is fed up with Russell Wilson, man. They would have been down 14 instead of 18, but regardless, they got, yeah. Yeah, but it's either get a touchdown or don't get anything at that point. I think that was almost like a slap to the face, to like a way of saying, I don't believe in this Russell Wilson guy. He's going to get it done on 4th and goal. Because then he completely yelled at him in the sideline. If they can find a way to trade him, I think you got to trade Russell Wilson. And just let maybe Sean Payton draft a quarterback. Well, props to the Lions for bouncing back. They're a very good home team. It's on the road. I'm thinking like, as long as they're at home, they'll be fine. But if they got to go play like in San Francisco, Philadelphia, Dallas, they're going to be in trouble in the playoffs. Yes, they did get screwed by refs, but multiple teams have all season. Yeah, exactly. Andy Reid got fined $100,000 and Patrick Mahomes got fined $50,000. They even benched Wilson at the end of the game and was like, wow, they don't want him. Yeah. But he's just, when they ask him about that, he's just going to say, well, it was a fucking blowout. I didn't want him to get hurt. That's what he's going to say. For your fucking Jared Stidham. How do you think a guy like Jake Browning or Gardner Minshew would look on this Broncos team? Like, I think you think Russell's washed up? Like, I wonder if they had like a guy like Jake Browning or Gardner Minshew, how good Denver would be. But I mean, a lot of that too is the head coach, right? Kevin O'Connell and Zach Taylor doing a good job of squeezing all the juice out of those two guys. Even Shane Steichen with Gardner Minshew. They did. I think you think I think it's more the coach, right? The coach is doing a good job. Zach Taylor and Kevin O'Connell and Shane Steichen. But I do wonder if you put a Gardner Minshew or a Jake Browning on this current Denver team with Sean Payton, it would, because they got weapons. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. I think they would have looked a lot better than Wilson is looking. Yeah, they did play really good tonight, Jake Browning and Gardner Minshew. This is one of the few situations where they do have an offensive-minded coach and the quarterback is struggling. Like in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin is a defensive-minded coach. But here, it's like, I think it's Wilson, man. Like, you see what Jake Browning and Gardner Minshew and even Nick Mullins did today, and you're like, Russell Wilson, what the fuck, man? You got one of the best offensive-minded coaches in history in Sean Payton, and you still can't get it done. I think that means he's washed. I think that's what it means, man. I don't know, man. I would find a way to trade out of that shit, man. If you can, which I believe you can by, like I said, February or March. Maybe to Atlanta. Maybe Atlanta would take him. I don't know. Maybe Atlanta can take Russell Wilson. I don't know. That's one of the few teams I can think of. All right, guys, I'm gonna get off. Have a good night, everybody. I'm about to get off this shit, man.